Okay, for the first question, the equation of the curve is this. Find the set of values of x for which the curve lies completely above the line. So if it's completely above the line, it will look something like that. Okay, and this gradient will be positive, so it will look something like that. So in order for this to be true, your curve must be, the y value of your curve must be completely above this. Okay, so you'll rearrange your second equation into this. So this is your second equation. And then you put equation 1 is more than equation 2. So you have this. After that, bring all of your x term to one side. Okay, and then simplify it to be the quadratic equation less than 0. After that, you can factorize into this. So when you are dealing with quadratic inequality, okay, and it's more than 0 means that it will be above this line. Okay, this is the line. So if it's above means that it will be over here and over here. Okay, and since it's above, okay, this means that your value will be more than 1/3 and less than -1. Okay, therefore your range will be x less than 1 or x more than 1/3. Okay, for the second question, okay, find the range of values of m for which the equation has real roots. So if you have real roots means that there is intersection. So have intersection. So be it 1 or 2, okay, 1 or 2. So if it's 1 means that your discriminant is equals to 0. If it's 2 means that it's more than 0, okay? Therefore, your discriminant will be more than 0. So over here, b squared minus 4ac more than 0. So first, you rearrange all of the things, you expand out and then bring all to one side. You can choose to factorize out your x squared so that you can see your a better, okay? Or you want to keep it like this, it's fine as well. So A is m minus 3, B is minus 12, and then C is 2m. So since b squared minus 4ac is more than equals to 0, okay, then you just put it like this. So b squared minus 4ac more than equals to 0. After that, you can simplify. Okay, and then from here to here, okay, you divide by -8. Okay, we will try to keep our square term positive. Okay, so we divide by -8. So note that when you divide by negative or you multiply by negative for inequality, your sign will flip. That's why over here more than equals to become less than equals to. And then from here, you can just factorize into this. M minus 6 times m plus 3 is less than equals to 0. Okay, so less than means that it will be below this line. So if it's below this line, it will be over here. Your range would be more than -3 or less than equals to 6. Okay, so this is the range for your m. For question 2, find a set of values of x for which 5x squared plus 12x more than 3x plus 2. So what you need to do is bring all of our term to one side and then make it more than 0. So if it's more than 0, okay, and then you need to factorize this part here. So after you factorize, you get this. So more than 0 means that it will be above this line. Okay, also note that when you are drawing the curve, okay, it depends on what your coefficient of x squared is. So for this case, it's positive. So if it's positive, it's U-shape. Okay, if you are doing in terms of negative, it will be N-shape. So negative is N-shape for your curve over here. Okay, so more than 0 means above this line, then it will be over here. So your x will be less than -2 or x is more than 1/5. Okay, and then for part B, the line y equals to mx plus c does not intersect the curve. Okay, prove that 8m squared plus 8 is less than c squared. Okay, so you have y equals to mx plus c. This is your first equation. X squared plus y squared equals to 8 is your second equation. So if it does not intersect means that when I set this to be equals to 0, my discriminant will be. So if I do a substitution, okay, there will be no intersection. Okay, but I'll do a substitution first. So expand out this bracket. This is your a plus b squared. So it will become a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. Okay, but your a is mx, so it will become m squared x squared. And then your 2ab will be 2mxc. And then your b squared will be c squared. Okay, minus, then you bring the 8 over -8 to be equals to 0. Okay, after that, you can factorize out your x squared so that you can see your a, b, and c better. Okay, if you don't want to, it's fine as well. So since it does not intersect means that your b square minus 4ac must be less than 0. Okay, depending on the value of your m and your c, okay, these two graphs might intersect or might not intersect. So that's why we will find the range of our m and c. Okay, so since the question already say does not intersect, so that we will set our b square minus 4ac to be less than 0. So our a is m squared plus 1, so over here. Our b is this part here, and then our c is just c squared minus 8. Okay, since it's less than 0, okay, our b squared minus 4ac, this will be the b squared minus 4ac, then you expand out. So this square will apply to 2m and c, that's why you have 4m squared c squared. And then you have a minus 4 multiply in, okay, when you do a rainbow. Okay, then after you times the minus 4, you'll get this term here. So 4m squared c squared minus 4m squared c squared, okay, is exactly the same, so you can cancel out. So you're only left with this part here. 32m squared minus 4c squared plus 32 less than 0. So you'll bring your 4c squared over to this side. Okay, so that you have 32m squared plus 32 is less than 4c. Since over here is a single c and all are multiple of 4, you can divide by 4. Okay, so once you divide by 4, you get 8m squared plus 8 is less than c squared. Then prove it. Then hence determine whether the line, okay, y equals to 2x plus 5 intersect the curve. So if you take a look at your line here, okay, it is in the format of this already. So from here, you can tell that your m is 2, your c is 5. So what we know that when your 8m squared plus 8 is less than c squared, this means that you will have no solution. So we'll check whether our 8m squared plus 8 is more than, equals to, or less than c squared. So you sub m equals to 2 into this part here. So 8 times 2 squared plus 8 will be 40. And then you sub in c equals to 5, you'll get 25. So since 40 is more than 25, okay, this would have solution which will intersect. Okay, for question 3, the path of a typical bungee jumper is described in this quadratic curve. Okay, your equation is this, where y is the vertical height and x is the horizontal distance. So state the height of the jumping platform above the water surface. So above the water surface means that your distance is 0. Okay, your horizontal distance is 0. So you sub in x equals to 0. You get y equals to 8. So the height of jumping platform above water surface is 58 meters. For part B, they want you to complete the square of this. Okay, so you just factorize out the 50 in front here. You'll get x squared minus 2x. Okay, so in order to complete this square here, you're missing a plus 1 square. So you need to minus 1 square, and then this portion here will become your square here. Okay, and then the 50 is outside. So minus 1 square, okay, when you open up the bracket, it will become minus 50. Then minus 50 plus 58 will be this. So if you notice this completed square form, right, this means that it will not cut the x-axis in terms of your graph. Because your minimum point for your y value is more than 0, means that this is always positive. Okay, and then for part B, assuming that you're a safety engineer without solving for x, explain how you might prove that the bungee jumper will never hit the surface. Okay, so we'll make use of our minimum point here. So since the minimum height of the water from the surface is 8 meters, which is greater than the tallest human, okay, if let's say I have my minimum height to be at 1, so you just imagine that you are being tied by the legs. You are doing a bungee jump. So when you jump down, okay, your rope here, okay, would be here. Then your head is here. This is your leg. If this point here, they did not state whether it is measuring from the rope or from the height of the person, okay, we will need some safety clearance. Okay, so for average height of an adult would be about 1.7 to 1.8. So if your minimum height here is only 1, so it's quite risky because your full length, okay, let's say this is your leg, okay, you will be partially submerged inside the water, okay? That's why we will use greater than the tallest human instead of like more than 0, because more than 0 might not be safe enough. Okay, therefore, the bungee jumper will never hit the water surface. Even if he or she stretch the hands all the way, okay, it will not touch the water because there's plenty of gap here. If we take the human with the arm extended to be, let's say, like 3.5, okay, we still have about 4.5 meters of clearance. So this is quite safe. So for question 4a, you have fx equals to this is exactly divisible by x squared plus 3x. So when fx is divided by x plus 2, you have a remainder of 10. So find the values of a, b, and c, hence factorize fx completely. So you have exactly divisible by this means that this is a factor. Okay, and x squared plus 3x, you can actually further factorize. So this is actually a composite number. So for example, if you have 18, okay, you know that 6 is a factor. Okay, since you know 6 is a factor, but 6 you can further split into 2 times 3, right? So therefore, I can say that 2 and 3 are also factor of 18. So over here, you factorize, this means that your x and your x plus 3 are also factors. It's the exact same analogy as this one. 6 can split into 2 and 3. 2 and 3 are also factors of 18. So f0 is equals to 0. Okay, because this is x plus 0. So x equals to, this will be x equals to 0. Okay, c equals to 0. Because if you put 0 here, here will be gone, here will be gone, here will be gone, then you're only left with c. When f is minus 3 equals to 0, okay, then you sub in x equals to minus 3, you'll get this equals to 0. You further simplify, expand out, okay, clean up a bit, you'll get a equals to minus 2b. This is your first equation. So for the second equation is when you divide it by x plus 2, so you sub in x equals to minus 2, it will give a remainder of 10, so 10. So a times minus 2 cubed, okay, then you expand out, you get this, further simplify, okay, clean up a bit, divide by 2. Because 4, 18 and 10 are divisible by 2, so you can divide by 2. So you get this. Okay, this will be your equation number 2. So after that, you can just do a substitution, sub 1 into 2. Okay, further simplify, you get b is equals to minus 1. Okay, and then sub in b equals to minus 1 into equation number 1, which is here. So minus 2 times minus 1 will give you positive 2. So a is equals to 2. Okay, so fx will be equals to this. You sub in your values of your b, a, and c. Okay, you have this. So you can choose to use any alphabet here. Okay, I'm just comparing the coefficient. So compare coefficient of x cubed. So in order to get x cubed, you need to take x times jx. So, and over here is 2. So j is equals to 2. Then you compare coefficient of x. So to get the coefficient of x, it will be just x times 3 times k. Okay, so 3k equals to minus 3 over here. Then k is equals to minus 1. So you put it back into your j and x, okay, you'll get 2x minus 1 over here. So fx is equals to this. So this is fully factorized. So for part B, given that this is equals to this, for all values of x, find the values of a, b, c, and d. Okay, it looks very confusing, but if you sub in a certain value of x, you will cancel out 3 terms. So sub in x equals to 1, this will become 0, this will become 0, this will become 0. So you're only left with d. So 3 minus 2 plus 1 minus 4. Okay, press inside calculator, d is minus 2. So after that, you sub in x equals to minus 1. Okay, this still have value. This will be gone, this will be gone, and then d you already found. So I only left with a. This is from this d. So bring your minus 2 over to this side, okay, then further simplify, your a is equals to 4. So sub in x equals to 0. X equals to 0 cancel out your c. You already have your value of a. You have value of d. You're only left with b for your unknown. Okay, so b is equals to -2. So the last one, you can just either compare coefficient or you want to sub in any random value of x because you already have a, b, and d. Okay, any x value will give you c. Okay, but by comparing x cubed, you can immediately get c because based on this part here, the only way you can get x cubed is from cx times x squared. So cx times x squared, okay, will be equals to 3. Therefore, c is equals to 3. Okay, and then your a is equals to 4, b equals to -2, c equals to 3, and then d equals to -2. Okay, for question 5, you have fx equals to this. So find the value of a and b for which 2x squared plus x minus 1 is a factor of x. So since it is a factor, okay, this means that, okay, like the previous part, if this is a factor means that, and this is a composite, you can further factorize into this. So this too will also be a factor of your fx. So f minus 1, okay, it will give you this. So clean up a bit, you'll get a equals to this. This is your first equation. So for the second equation, you have 2x minus y equals to 0. So your x will be equals to half. So 2x minus y equals to 0. So x equals to half. That's why you sub in the f half is equals to 0. So once you sub in x equals to half, okay, you'll get this. Further simplify a bit, okay, then you get this. Over here, from here to here, you times 4 to get rid of the fraction. So this one times 4, the 4 will cancel out. Then over here, times 4 will become 4b. So sub 1 into 2. Okay, further simplify, you get b equals to -2. Then after that, sub b equals to -2 into 1. So over here. So 3 minus -2 will become 5. Okay, therefore a equals to 5, b equals to -2. So for part 2, solve the equation of fx equals to 0. Okay, in order to fully solve this this function here, okay, we need to further factorize the other part. Okay, we can compare the coefficient or we can sub in values of x to get rid of certain unknowns. Okay, but we'll just compare coefficient of x cubed. So to get x cubed, you can only get it by 2x squared times cx. So 2c will be equals to 2, therefore c is equals to 1. And then for the next part, you'll compare the coefficient of your x above 0, which is a constant term. So to get a constant, you can only take d times -1. So minus d equals to -2, so d is equals to 2. Therefore, this would be your further factorized form. Okay, this part here, previously we already factorized into this area, over here. So we put it back into here, and then the one that we found just now, so c is 1, d is 2, so you have x plus 2. So now that fully factorized, you can solve. So x equals to half, or x equals to -1, or x equals to -2. For part 3, hence solve this equals to 0. So whenever you have a change in your function, okay, I'll always take a look at the x term, okay, with this term here, so that I know what do I need to change into. So from x will change into half y. So to test out the theory, okay, we will change into f half y. So once you sub in half y into your x, so this will be half y cubed will become 1 over 8y cubed. Then 1 over 8 times 2 will give you 1 over 4. This is 5 times 1 over 2 square. So 1 over 2 square will become 1 over 4. So it will become 5 over 4. Then y squared. Then x will become just half y, then -2. So since it's exactly the same, right? From here, you can just simply change all of your x solution into half y. So instead of writing x, you write half y. Half y equals to half. So it's the same, the first one. This is the second one. This is the third one. Then from there, you just need to solve for y. So you times 2, this will become 1. Then you times 2, this will become -2. Then times 2 will become -4. So all the solutions just 2 times only. Okay, for question 6, polynomial fx is such that coefficient of x above 4 is 5. The roots of the equations are this. equals to 0 is 1 over 5 and 2. So fx has a remainder of minus 12 when divided by x minus 1 and a remainder of 162 when divided by x plus 1. So find an expression for fx. Okay, so first of all, okay, these two factors here, okay, is derived from here. So x equals to 1 over 5, then it will become 5x equals to 1, then 5x minus 1 equals to 0. So this is a factor. Then you have x equals to 2, so x minus 2 equals to 0. So these are the two factors from here and here. And then you have ax squared plus bx plus c. So the reason why you need ax squared plus bx plus c is because your coefficient is x above 4. The highest degree is 4. So over here only give you square. So in order to get x above 4, you need another square in this bracket here. Okay. Now that you are done with this, okay, we will compare the coefficient of x above 4. So to get x to the power of 4 coefficient, you need to take x times 5x times ax squared. So over here will be 5, and then over here they tell you it's 5. So 5 equals to 5, a is equals to 1. So now that you have a equals to 1, okay, we will sub in this part here. Okay, when x equals to 1 means that x minus 1, so x equals to 1. So f1 will be minus 12, the remainder here. So we'll put, okay, 1 into here. So 1 minus 2 is minus 1, then 5 times 1 minus 1 is 4. Then a is 1, so we'll just keep it as 1. So 1 times 1 is 1. Then b plus c. So over here, instead of expanding out, right, since this is a multiplication, you can just divide both sides by negative 4. You don't have to expand and then divide at the end. You can just straight away divide by negative 4. So negative 12 divided by negative 4 will give you 3. Okay, rearrange a bit, make b the subject. So you bring c over, bring the 1 over. So 3 minus 1 is 2. Then positive c will become negative c. So this is your equation number 1. Then next, you will make use of this part here. So when x plus 1, so x plus 1 equals to 0. So x will be equals to minus 1. You'll do f minus 1. Hang on. Yeah, f minus 1 equals to this. So when x equals to minus 1, minus 1 minus 2 will minus 3. So 5 times minus 1 will be minus 6. And then this will be minus 1 square will be positive 1. It will still change back to 1. The only thing it will change will be your b. Your b will become negative b. So again, same thing, you will divide by positive 18. Okay, because this is multiplying to the bracket here. So you can just divide both sides by 18. You get this. So since you make b the subject for both equations, you can set equation 1 to be equals to equation 2. So 2 minus c equals to c minus 8, then c equals to 5. Then sub c equals to 5 into 1, you'll get b equals to minus 3. So therefore, your fx will be this. This is your expression. So prove that the polynomial fx equals to 0 has only two solutions. So they are trying to say that these are the only two solutions, which means that this part here will have no solution. So how to prove? Okay, we will make use of our discriminant. So we just focus on this bracket here. Your a is 1, your b is minus 3, and then your c is 5. So based on this, your discriminant is negative 11. Therefore, b squared minus 4ac less than 0. So it has no real roots. So only have two solutions, which is this two solution over here. Okay, for question 7, factorize this completely. So 3 and 24, you can take out a common factor of this. So once you take out a common factor already, okay, then you can change your 8y cubed into bracket 2y cubed. So you have a difference in cube. When you have a difference in cube, okay, you can just apply the formula, then you have this. This will be my ab, then this is a square, ab, and then b square. Plus, minus. Okay, for part B, express this as a partial fraction. So before you express into a partial fraction, first check whether this fraction is improper or proper. So the highest degree here is 2, and then your denominator highest degree will be 3. So therefore, this fraction here is proper. Okay, then you'll start doing into this. So over here, your x plus 1 bracket square is a repeated root. So you must have one linear one and one of the square one. Okay, and then since all are fully factorized, okay, then you don't need x on the denominator. So after that, you just multiply both sides by the denominator, you have this. Okay, up to this point, you can sub in any x value to get rid of multiple terms. So for example, if you sub in x equals to -1, this will become 0, this will become 0. Then you only have this. Okay, if you sub in x equals to -2, this will be gone, this will be gone. You are only left with this. Okay, so we'll do a x equals to -1 first. So over here would be -1 square. So it will become 7 minus 19 plus 15. Then over here, this will be gone, this will be gone. So -1 plus 2 will give you +1. That's why it's only b. Okay, press inside calculator, you get b equals to 3. So for the next one, you sub in x equals to -2. This will be gone, this will be gone. You're only left with this. Okay, -2 plus 1 is -1. -1 square will be +1. That's why it's only c here. Okay, then you get c equals to 5. Then lastly, you can sub in any value, okay, or you can even compare the coefficient. But comparing coefficient will not do you any help because you also need to do A and C. So you just submit any value, okay, you get this. 0 plus 2 will be 2, 2 times B, so 2 times 3, this is B. Then C is 5, so 0 plus 1 is 1, 1 square is still 1, so 1 times C is still C, so this is my C. Okay, after that, you simplify a bit, then bring some terms over, solve for A is 2. Okay, up to this point, okay, you're not done yet, so you need to put it back into here. Okay, so your A is 2, so 2, then B is 3, C is 5. So you just put it back into here. So a partial fraction looks like this. Okay, then for the last question, express this as partial fraction. So again, check whether this is proper or improper. So your highest degree on numerator is 3, denominator is 3. Okay, therefore it's improper. So what you need to do is do a long division first. Okay, numerator divide by denominator. So numerator divide denominator. So how to get rid of the x cubed? Okay, you need 3 times of it. So minus, okay, remember to put a bracket here because you need to minus more than one term. So when you open up the bracket, this will become negative, this will become positive. Okay, that's why over here is positive 27x. Okay, and then this will be this. So we'll be doing partial fraction based on this part here only because 3 is a whole number. We don't need to touch a 3, but we need to put it back at the end. Okay, again, same thing. From here, okay, x cubed minus 9x, you can factorize out x, then you have x squared minus 9. Over here, you can still factorize because this is your difference in square. So it will become x plus 3, x minus 3. It doesn't matter which order you put. That's why you have 3 terms here. Then you have 3 alphabets here. So sub x equals to 3, this will be gone, this will be gone, you're only left with b. Okay, b is equals to 5. Then, okay, next you sub in x equals to -3, you'll get rid of your a and your b. So when you sub in -3 here, this will be -3 times -6. It will become positive 18. Okay, then c is -4. Sub x equals to 0, you'll get rid of your b and your c. Then you're left with a. So -9a equals to 9. So a is -1. Okay, therefore your partial fraction will become like this. Don't forget your 3. Okay, because over here previously that's a 3. You are doing partial fraction based on the fraction here. The fraction here will become this. Okay, your 3 still remains. Okay, and that's all.